Yay. Ah, always, always happy to be with you. We've had a really cool excursion in the last couple of months through uh, these light particles, all related to these very high frequency energies coming in that are very much, we might as well just call them particles of ascension, because that's really what they are. They are pulling up, either they're coming from deep in the earth and they're just kind of like waking us up, or they're coming down and they're pulling up our energy more and more to be able to encompass more light. That really is the goal, in order for us to be able to have energy bodies that are able to ascend properly in a way that's not too clunky. The whole system needs to be calibrating at a higher level more and more. So what I wanted to do this month is kind of come back to the basics, back to the body basics. And very specifically, when I say the body, I'm talking about the energy bodies, plural. But, when we say your body, your physical body is based on an energy blueprint that's there before the physical body appears. So what I want to play with tonight and do a very nourishing meditation around the auric field is we're going to be working with what we normally refer to as the energy body. So I want to just give a little understanding of four levels of being that represent deeper and deeper and deeper foundational structures, so that we understand where exactly we're working when we're doing the work tonight. We all know the system we're going to be working with tonight. It's the chakra and the subtle bodies. We've all kind of heard about it. But you might not realize that your auric body, your auric field with its layers and its chakras, is but one level of the being that you are and the foundational structure that allows your soul to incarnate into a body. So in a nutshell, I just want to kind of like present these four layers, which it's a little bit more complicated than four layers levels, but we're gonna work with the idea of these four levels so that we're able to have fun understanding which level we're working at. And let's see in a couple of months if I introduce some deeper structural realities that are coming into the field and will involve a very big complexification of our energy system. But one thing at a time. So first level that we see is the physical body. We're all very aware of this. Physical body and the bioenergetic system of the physical body. So we're talking like the electrical system, like the little electrical things that happen between the nerve cells, or the meridians as a system of electricity in the body. That's the physical world level, sorry. Then quantum leap deeper into a structure through which the physical body is manifested is the auric field. So the auric field is what most of us know as the energy bodies. It's like there's like the etheric body and the emotional body and the mental body and the astral body, and we've all kind of heard these terms. Like it's related to like the layers of the aura and the seven main chakras that have been around for, they're kind of the base constitution of the energy bodies. We're going to be playing with that one tonight. Before I go into that, I want to talk about, there's two deeper levels than that. So The deeper foundational level that exists prior to the auric field level in the chakras is the Hara, the Haric level, right? So that's the Hara Line. That is the level of intention. It's the level like of intentional will. At the highest level, the will to incarnate into a body. Like, whereas the auric field is the level of feeling. It's the psychosomatic, psychological personality level. One layer deeper, Hera, intentional level of the being. And then one level even deeper than that is, like Barbara Ann Brennan talks about that level as the core essence level, or the core star level, she calls it. And basically, like at this point, we're talking about like pure divine essence. What in you is not subjugated to space and time. What in you is a pure divine essence that is untainted, untouched, unharmed by anything going on in the space-time continuum, which is kind of like a fabric of dreamlike space in which we get to have experiences and stuff like that. So divine essence, core star level, is the deep, deep, deep foundation of being. It lives outside of space and time. It is eternal. It always has been, it always will be. It is pure light. Then from there, it's like a little quantum leap, boom, into a Hara line, that Haric field, which is the intentional energy of a soul that individuates from the Godhead and incarnates into a body. We've worked on the Hera before, in like 2 years ago or so. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun going back into the Hera stuff this summer, you know, and even some work around the core star, which it's like, yay, that sounds so fun. Sounds like good summer stuff, you know. Let's feed the really deep layers. Tonight, what I want to focus on is the auric level. So the auric level is what most of us know when we talk about energy bodies. So lo and behold, like how trippy is this to understand that when you're doing energy healing on someone, you know, you can be working from many different levels. You know, like Reiki, for example, is working on the auric field, and more specifically on the lower levels of the auric field, the etheric, emotional, mental bodies. As soon as you kind of want to go into higher levels of healing, a tool like Reiki isn't going to be enough to go into deeper layers of like levels of healing, such as like working on someone's Hara line is for most people almost impossible to do, because you have to be able to maintain yourself like super perfectly grounded in your Hara line. And if I remember correctly, it's something like 45 minutes at a time is what most people can handle. Like, you know, that's how little we're able to stay fully like connected to that. Working on the higher subtle bodies of the auric field, generally speaking, you will require a tool that's more advanced than Reiki. So I'm not bashing Reiki. Reiki is important for the level it's working at, but it's important that we not ask tools to be able to do more than what they were built for. So something like the teachings of Barbara Ann Brennan and other healers that are working with more advanced energy tools, all the mystical alchemy tools, for example, and so most of the tools that I use, like, we're starting to work on higher levels. We're working on the heart field level of the aura and above. Those of you that do alchemy work with me, most of the time we're working from the layer above the mental field and above. So it's like we're working on all these layers that what's the word I'm looking for? survive the physical death of your body, basically. You know, like it's like from the heart on up, most of that, like that stuff is eternal, and there's teachings and lessons and karma, and there's a bunch of stuff in there that needs to be cleared, and it gets cleared through incarnations. But we that are doing the mystical alchemy work have fun going and working on that and integrating and clearing these things while in this physical body, so that then that's done. That's done throughout space and time. That's done for the rest of your incarnations. So that's the cool trippy stuff that I love doing with you. But the auric field is the base. It's such an important base. All of your psychological experience of reality is through the auric field. All of it. So the psychological reality that you're in, your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, you know, how your thoughts and emotions interact together and create other feelings. So like all of that, that's all circulating in the aura. The aura. So remember, auric field is the energy bubble around you with its layers, and that is but one of the levels of your being. Physical, auric, so energetic, Hara, and then essence. I want us to just have fun feeling into the aura tonight. No one comes on these calls that doesn't know about the 7 main chakras, you know, but we'll still kind of like explore a little bit of understanding what's really happening with these energy centers. Because the way they go, as you come into a body, they're building one on top of the other, and that's completely normal, right? Like you're a little baby, your first experiences are of understanding how to move around in the world. You're building your base root chakra, which is your ability to feel connected to your body and feel that you're able to move around in the environment, feel that you get the food that you need so that you're safe, you have warmth, you have food, you have shelter, you have water, like. And then from that healthy base then starts the buildup of the emotional, experience of reality, discovering what you like and what you don't like, which is kind of the whole sacral energy of the body. And then from there, you start building into the mental field. You start having thoughts and trying to make sense of your life and trying to like make sense of the world and where you fit in it and da 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 da. So up to now, that's the first 3 chakras: the root, the sacral, and the plexus. To be clear, many people in the level of consciousness of our humanity, that's pretty much all that gets developed, really. It's like, I'm in a body, I know how to take care of myself, I know how to get food, I know how to have shelter, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. I know what I like, I know what I don't like. I'm able to give myself pleasure and do things that bring pleasure to my life. I'm able to have feelings towards myself, love myself, accept myself. And then plexus, like I'm able to go out in the world and understand how the world's made, understand who I am in the world, understand how to get what I need from others, like that summarizes, unfortunately, for many people, that summarizes kind of like the top level where they're going. Ideally, they're also going into developing the heart chakra, which is about being in interrelations with other human beings and experiencing love, experiencing what it feels like to be loved, and experiencing what it feels like to love other humans. But it's like, sadly, there are some people that they might never really know what love really is, if they've been, and I don't mean just because they've been raised in horrible, abusive environments, but if you've been raised in an environment where, mommy and daddy think you're a good boy, a good girl, if you get good grades and you get good this and you get good that, you don't really know what it means to feel loved. like deeply loved for who you are, regardless of what you do. So the first three are the base psychology of all human beings. And then the heart chakra kicks in this whole interpersonal reality of understanding that, love is the base of my relations with other humans, ideally. Then from there, we enter the spiritual chakras. So they really, like, it's really the way they're mentioned in most books. It's like you've got the chakras of the physical world, which are the first three chakras, which ensure your, important basic psychology and ability to survive on Earth. Survive, take care of your body, feel safe in your own emotional landscape within yourself, and feel safe in the world, going out there and understanding the world that you're in and being able to use your mind to, make tools and make shelter, build a roof, stuff like that. Then these upper ones, they are spiritual chakras. And this is where it gets really interesting. Any of us that are on a spiritual quest, that's what we're doing. We're starting this excursion. We're starting this journey, or we're on this journey into a deeper and deeper unfolding of understanding this much vaster identity, the identity of your being, like beyond just your body and your personality and who you are and where you're from. All of a sudden it's like, oh, who I am and where I'm from is like not sounding the same at all anymore. We're entering the field of a much vaster understanding of what that is. Like that who am I, which is way beyond, oh, I'm Julie, So I'm just doing a little nutshell experience of this. The throat chakra is a very interesting chakra because it's considered the blueprint of everything underneath it. It's like if you could see the template of the throat chakra, it contains all the blueprint of all the layers underneath it, the interpersonal ability and the personal reality. So body, emotions, mind, and heart as the interpersonal field. All of these, they're all contained within the throat chakra. The throat chakra represents divine will. Divine will. And if we think about this, it's kind of interesting because it is through your divine will that you incarnate into a body. Like, we think of the throat chakra as like, oh, this is about speaking or whatever. And it's like, yes, the power of the word, the power of bringing into existence through intentional frequency, that's what that is. So the throat chakra represents divine will and your ability to be more and more in tune with it and expressing it, which means expressing the truth for you. And that's where most of us understand the throat chakra, right? It's like, it doesn't work well if we're not expressing how we're feeling, if we're not, like telling the truth about how we feel, kind of thing. And yeah, that's exactly it. This chakra works best when you are expressing the truth of how you feel. Little paradox here is that a lot of the times the way you feel is based on a whole bunch of lies, like, so then, the reason we're calling it the divine will chakra is because this is about actually becoming in tune with the truth. Weird example, like you want to like tell someone, oh, you're doing this and it's hurting me. That's not the truth, right? It's activating something in you. So it's like, we'll go into that a little bit more after, but divine will. Then the more you actually work with this chakra, the more you actually respect the truth in you and communicate it to others, the more the energy of the third eye can become more and more available to you. Because the energy of the third eye is about spiritual ecstasy. It's like we've got weird perceptions sometimes of these chakras, but it's about feeling. This is beyond the interpersonal. This is not about feeling love with other human beings. This is about feeling divine love. This is about feeling the love that coats everything in the fabric of every being. Everything is precious. Every life form, even if it's billions of miles away from here, is as precious as the one that you carry. So that chakra becomes more and more accessible when we are able to respect the truth, and speak from a place of integrity within ourselves. I'll come back on this, but the third eye, the heart, and the sacral are feeling centers. I've talked about that before. They're feeling centers, and the other ones are action centers. And the subtle bodies are made completely differently in correspondence to each of them. And last but not least, that crown chakra is the divine mind. It's your ability to be connected to a much vaster mind than the rational mind, which is kind of what your solar plexus is really good at. It's the divine mind. It's your ability to understand that you are a beautiful, intricate piece of a puzzle, and you fit into a much vaster whole. And it all makes sense. And there are no extra parts that don't fit somewhere. So it's like that ability to connect with that energy helps you understand more and more how you're a divine being, and everything you're going through makes perfect sense once you can see it through the eyes of the purpose of your soul to incarnate. So the heart is kind of like that interpersonal line, and it's also the bridge. That heart space is the bridge between the personal and the spiritual, between the, like the personality understood as more humanoid personality, and the much vaster individuality of your soul. I don't want this to be too content rich, so because I want to go into a deep feeling meditation, but there's still a couple of little things I want to say about that, because it's going to help with the meditation we're going to do. So it's going to sound complex, but please don't take it to be as complex as it sounds. You have 7 major chakras. You have 7 major subtle bodies. Okay? There's more than that, but it's the major ones are these ones. For each chakra has a corresponding energy body. This is super interesting to understand. So the root chakra corresponds to the etheric body, which is like really close to your skin. It's like a couple of centimeters from your skin, and it's a perfect replica of your physical body. Root chakra is all about the physical body and the physical system, the veins and the whatever, just like everything that allows your body to be sustained. So within the etheric body, there are the 7 chakras, and they look a certain way in the etheric body. Okay, then your sacral has a different way of representing energy that also has a corresponding energy field, which is called the emotional subtle body. And within the emotional subtle body, there are also the 7 chakras. But it's like, right, there's like 7 layers, and each layer has the 7 chakras. This is good stuff to play with because then we're going to play with it energetically. The solar plexus has a corresponding energy field that's called the mental body. And these fields are always getting a little bit further away from the body. You know, by the time we're out at by the time we're to the crown, like it's like kind of like golden egg shape. So the etheric body is close to the body. It's blue and it's a perfect reproduction of the body. Then the emotional body, which is one of the feeling centers, right? That's more like cloud-like. It's kind of like cloud-ish. It's like pink and blue clouds, and it kind of moves around in little puffs. It's considered unstructured and multicolored. The first chakra and the etheric body and the third chakra and the mental body are part of the subtle bodies that are called structured. They're made of lines. They're made of lines, and these lines go all around. They go all around the organs, they go all around the body, they go all around the skin, they go all around. So there's an altering thing going on all the time. So you've got the etheric body, dark blue, it's a bunch of dark blue lines. Then you've got the emotional body, that's a bunch of cute little puffy clouds. Then you've got the mental body, that's a bunch of yellow lines. That corresponds to the plexus. Then we've got the heart chakra, and its corresponding energy field is called the astral body. By some people call it the celestial body, but we're going to work with the Barbara Brennan system, so we're going to call it the astral body. And this one, once again, isn't lines. This one's unstructured and multicolored, and it's more like fluid. It's not little clouds in the air kind of thing. Now it's more like a liquid. It's more like a liquidy feel in the heart chakra layer of the aura, the astral field. Then we get to the throat. As I was just telling you, the throat contains the blueprint of everything else. So the throat is once again made of lines. This one's kind of trippy because it's kind of like when you're looking at these negatives of pictures and everything's inverted, you know, like where there would be white space that's dark and where there would be matter, it's light. So it's kind of like that when you're looking through that field. But once again, that too is a bunch of lines. And and that body is called the etheric template. Sorry for the weird names. So level 1, etheric body. Level 5, the etheric template of all the layers underneath. Then when we get to the third eye, this is the celestial body. And the celestial body is unstructured, multicolored, and this one's more like a bunch of like little flowy light rays. It's just a bunch of little like flowy light rays all over the place. It's kind of looks like a star that's constantly scintillating. It's not these lines. It's not like surrounding all the organs in the body. It's like it's not following the lines of the body. So it's just kind of like here's my high-tech scientific language. It does this. Little scintillating lines. And then the crown chakra creates the what's called the catheric body. So it's like etheric with the K in front, basically. And that's composed of golden lines. This is super fun stuff to play with, okay? Because we're gonna go play with all of this in the meditation, and we're actually gonna like play with the different things and the strands and the lines and the this. So something about understanding these layers of the auric field, often it gets like confused, and we think it's like an onion, and there's this layer, and then there's this layer, and then there's this layer, and no, it's not like that. You know, like each layer starts from the central line, from the core of the body, and emanates outwards. So each bigger body encompasses all the body before it. It's not like the bigger body starts where the, you know what I mean? Like the emotional body doesn't start where the etheric body ends, and the mental body starts with, no, 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 no. This is super important, because like we got to stop thinking like that. Our brain does that. You know, it can't help itself. It's like, that's what the rational mind does. It's like, well, if that's that, and then there's that. And it's like, no, both, all of it, all at the same time. Like, so when you're learning to play with your energy field, when you're feeling your chakras, depending on which layer of the aura you're seeing and feeling them, you know, they're going to look and feel different. This is where it gets really interesting. This is why I was telling you about the Reiki thing. A lot of Reiki is concentrating on the first 3 layers of the body, you know, but the chakras are going all, these 7 chakras go out all the way to the golden egg, which is of the last body. So it's kind of incredibly beautiful to realize that. So you've got these, what we could call masculine bodies, action centers, right? So chakra 1, I'm in a body. Chakra 3, I use my mind to make sense of the world. Chakra 5 structures all of the lower bodies. Chakra 7, your connection to God understanding. These are the masculine structured bodies. And then you've got the unstructured feminine bodies, which are the feeling centers. So chakra 2, I feeling love for yourself, feeling what it's like to love and accept yourself, to know what you love, to know what you crave, to have a sensual experience of being in your body, of being with your thoughts and your emotions. And then heart center is your ability to feel connected with other human beings, and feeling love circulating between you and other human beings as mothers, fathers, friends, lovers, teachers, or whatever, like just experiencing that interpersonal flow of love energy. And then third eye, divine love, right? So self-love, loving other human beings, and feeling the love that the divine has for everything, feeling how everything is precious. And it's kind of trippy, because these layers, the feeling layers, to a masculine rational mind would seem empty, because they don't have lines and they don't have content, you know. They just have like stuff flowing through them that comes and goes and disappears and reappears depending on how you're feeling, you know. But they are very full. They are very full. And the masculine structured layers are what allow these energies to flow and be contained in the system, which is amazing. We forget how freaking amazing our bodies are, you know? So that's what I want to do tonight. I want to have fun coming back to the basics of feeling this energy system, feeling this auric system, the energetic base of our entire psychological system, our ability to be in a body and feel safe on earth, our ability to know ourselves and love ourselves, our ability to be in this world and make sense of it, our ability to feel love one for another, our ability to manifest and create what we want in our lives, our ability to feel the love of the entire galactic community around us, and our ability to be connected to the divine mind, to the higher field, the higher intuitive understanding of how All is love and all is well. Doesn't that sound like fun? Let's. I love doing this kind of like feeling into it. One last thing I want to say before we actually start showing you how to do it in real time while we're meditating is that once you understand that the layers of your aura that are structural and have lines, okay, these lines can get damaged. When someone gets an operation and their body gets cut open, you know, some of these lines get cut. And then, you know, stuff's done to the physical body and then sewn back up together. And then medical system's like, there you go, you'll heal, you're fine, you know? But meanwhile, most of the time, the energy bodies need to be repaired and the lines need to be kind of like, you know, if they've been cut apart, they need to be put back together. And it's super interesting because like, there are people like my my great uncle had, I don't know if I talked about this before, but he had his, back then when you had a problem with your leg, they would just cut it off, you know, that was just normal stuff. And when they used to cut limbs back then, I don't know why they did it like this, but basically they like, they put it like this and then they do the cut, but it's like the leg is like together, right? It's not, the leg's not open like that. So they did that and they cut his leg and he spent the rest of his life being in pain and being like, my leg hurts, my leg hurts. And they were like, there's no leg there anymore, you know? Well, it was still there energetically and it was still stuck in that position. All he would have needed really was a healer to energetically just, you know, just, and just kind of like fix the energy lines of the energy leg, because the energy leg stays. Whether there's a physical leg left, the energy leg's still there. Oh my God, I wish he could have had that relief. You know, I wish someone, like we're talking about like 100 years ago, but another example of that is a personal example I've gone through recently was I worked on a friend of mine who had an operation 30 years ago, imagine, 30 years ago. And they opened him up, took out all his guts, put it on the table so that they could go behind his aorta, which is this big vein near your spine. So they could go behind his aorta, lift it up, and scrape some cancerous cells that were like between the aorta and the spine. Like, does that sound okay? Just that sounds pretty freaking horrible, right? And then they put his guts back in his body and sewed him up. There you go. 30 years ago. So I end up working on him a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, I don't understand what I'm seeing. I didn't know this. I was like, I don't understand what I'm seeing. I see your energy beside you. I see this big block of energy that's beside you, and I need to bring it back in. And I see that the lines need to be reconnected. So I'm starting to do the work, and I finally ask him questions because I'm like I don't understand. I'm like, did you have? I can see he's got a big slit on his stomach. So I'm like, what kind of operation did you have? And he tells me, and I'm kind of like, okay, so that's the big blob of stuff I'm seeing beside him that I need to put back in his body. Clearly, like. Anyway, so long story short, do this process of putting the guts, the energetic version of his guts, back into his body. And that's a big trauma for the energy body that they did that, you know. And then unfortunately they didn't understand back then that a lot of stuff could be healed way faster if they had just done some energy work after that to put all the lines back together. And I reconnected the line between the plexus and the sacral, because it was like it had been literally severed. Well, it was super powerful work. And he's still kind of like dealing with the repercussions because all of a sudden he feels a whole bunch of stuff that he hasn't felt in 30 years. It's like all these all these energies that, like it was kind of like, well, I don't really feel anything there. It's, it's fine. I must be okay. Like I don't feel anything there. Now he's like, I feel so much that I'm like, I'm not even sure, like, does it even make sense that I'm married to this person? Does my life make sense? Does this make sense? Am I gay? Am I straight? I don't know anything anymore. Like, it's like, it's like, it has opened up the Pandora's box, But at the same time, he's like, oh my God, I had no idea. I've just spent the last 30 years of my life not being connected to how I feel. So whatever, it's like, it's very positive. It doesn't sound positive when I'm talking about it, but it's just kind of like, wow, oh my God, thank you, because now I can actually feel into whether or not I'm gay or straight, or if I want to be married, or if I don't, or if I this, or if I that, like woo, like all this thing reopened up. And somehow in the process, by reconnecting the plexus and the sacral and the root, it created a bridge that finally allowed him to work on a trauma from when he was 5. It's like everything got reconnected. So that's how, the physical body is just the last level of manifestation, right? It's all energetic first. It's all like in that not bio, but that, that auric field. And yes, before that, the Hara intentional field, and before that, the pure divine essence field. Like, yes. So these lines, we are going to be exploring and feeling into, just intuitively in your aura, feeling the health status of the lines composing these different layers of your aura. So, all right, let's have fun. If anybody needs to get comfy, blanket, lay down, whatever you want to do, I'll stop this part of the recording and start up in a second. Whew. Let's have some fun.